What's going on, good people? Welcome back. I'm still here. I'm still making a song every week. And today I'm going to be breaking down songs 9 through 12, which is also weeks 9 through 12, if you do the math. And if you didn't catch the last two breakdown videos I did, I'll put the link in the description for both of those. But today, I have 4 songs to break down for you. One is kind of a suspenseful folk song about trying to quit weed. One is an upbeat hip-hop song about trying to make it in music. One is a true story about getting sunburnt in Chicago on my trip there in March. And the last is an R&B song about being attracted to someone's energy, but not being sure if you should make a move or not. So stay tuned for that.
This feeling was never.
Song number 9 is called Leave You for Good. So something I struggle with sometimes is trying to find transition effects like sweeps or risers or cymbal reverses that actually fit in the song and don't sound super heavy-handed or out of place. To get around that in this one, I just used my own voice, breathing into the microphone like a lunatic. So here's what it sounded like in the room. And then with a ton of reverb on this other track. And then in context, it just works to keep the momentum going and give it some movement. And I discovered that a really good way to build the tension is just to record a bunch of weird noises on the microphone and then mix them in with different effects, and you kind of get this I know. But then mixed in, here's what it sounds like.
Ritual protect me, defend and justify.
You wouldn't necessarily know what those things are when you hear them in the background, but what it does is it just builds the suspense, builds the tension in the song. So that's my rose. The thorn is the drums. I had an idea that if the drums were to slowly fall out of sync with the song, it might make it feel a little off kilter and uncomfortable. And it does, but I still kind of go back and forth on if it was the right call.
One day, all the time.
And the thing I'm excited to explore more is actually the process of writing this song. A friend of mine recommended this technique of writing 2 lists in 2 columns. You know, some people do like a noun on one side and an adjective on the other side, or 2 specific prompts. And you write all the words that come to mind associated with those images, and then you draw lines between them and connect them in ways that might be kind of unusual or paradoxical. And then you use that as the basis for your lyrics. And I do feel like the lyrics that I got out of that process are a little bit more interesting, a little bit more abstract than they would have been otherwise. And so I'm excited to try that in the future and see how that goes.
Man, the man was moving so impatient. It felt like the final fight was my frustration. My simulation seems to run on.
All right, song number 10 is called Go For It. This is the first hip hop song I've made in this string of 10. It's a genre I used to make more of, but in the immortal words of Super Hot Fire, but I'm not a rapper. But there's a couple lines that are my favorite part of this whole song. For example,
I'm always towing the line, well, totally fine. Some totes full of trauma, I'm unloading with time. Oh, Sammy, are you okay? Llama, when I start to spit, I bet I'm paying it. Always hit for benefits with friends. I could really make a meal of this.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the reason I started writing is because I had things to unpack, trauma to unpack. But now I'm starting to look at music as something that could feed myself and loved ones. So it's like benefits with friends. Friends with Benefits is that movie with Mila Kunis, make a meal of this. The thorn on this one was just the bounce. I started with this drum break by, I believe, The Count. And then I had to work in this bass progressively. And if you take a look at the bass track, you'll see I tried a few different grooves, a few different bounces. If I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. Groove is king, and the bounce is king. And so when the groove isn't right, especially with something like hip hop, it just doesn't feel good. And so I got a lot of work to do to become a better rapper. You know, my mixing isn't the greatest yet, but I feel like the groove is what it all kind of hangs on. And that was the most challenging part for me, is just using this kind of unusual break and still getting a bounce that I liked. And then the bud of song 10 was kind of doing this call and response thing that I've heard in a lot of hooks over the years. I'm quite proud of how the hook turned out because there's the singing part and then there's kind of the rap response. So the distorted response sounds like this.
I seen a lot of doors open, seen a lot of doors closing, so I guess I gotta go for it.
It's a bit cheesy, I get it. But here's what it sounds like all together.
Seen a lot of doors open, seen a lot of doors closing, so I guess I gotta go for it.
All right, song number 11.
No, there's a hole outside.
So the thing about trying to make a song every single week is some weeks are different than others, and sometimes you have other life stuff happening. So for example, over the summer, I was away on vacation a little bit. I came back, I realized I still have to make a song this week, and I won't have enough time to do a full production. So what I did instead is I took a page out of my buddy's book, who's been exploring a lot of like kind of one take recordings, and shout out Lucas. I just recorded guitar and vocals at the same time with no click, no auto-tune, no backing tracks, nothing like that. And so you can see here are all the takes that I managed to do. And I just chose one, and that's the song.
I met a girl who stopped to listen as I strummed along the shore. She asked if I had shows lined up or been out here before.
So what worked surprisingly well was this unusual recording setup I had. I had this vocal mic, the Warm Audio 87, up at my mouth level, and then I used my phone mount actually with a clamp to point my iPhone mic at my guitar. So there's two guitar tracks, as you can see, the DI, which is just the direct in, and then also the iPhone recording, which sounds like this. So it's kind of a dirty guitar vocal mix. I have pretty much nothing on it other than EQ and a bit of width. And then here I have the DI track, which provides a little bit more clarity, but it's also a little bit more tinny. And so the combo of those two kind of provides a guitar that's like warmish, but has enough detail, but it's a little rough around the edges, so it sounds folksy. You know, there's some saying that like boundaries or limitations encourage creativity, and I think that was true in this case. And the thing I'm most excited about in the future is to write more songs while traveling. This is the first time I'd written kind of like a slice of life song about 3 things that happened to me in one day that all felt connected. And I got good feedback after sharing this one with people saying that they enjoyed kind of that style of storytelling in songs. And so it's something I want to work on. It's something I want to do more often. And, you know, traveling is always an amazing experience. So I'd love to do more of that as well.
I like your energy. I want to get up in your inner peace.
All right, last and probably best is this R&B infused track called Energy, which I wrote quite a while ago, and I was really happy to finally record it and produce it fully. So right off the bat, the thing I struggled with the most on this one was the mix.
Wait for a long, long time. So if this doesn't go my way, okay, I won't be surprised.
It took a long time just to try to get the bass and the drums to play nice together and to cut through. And funny enough, right at the end of the process, after I tried to make everything as loud as I possibly could, I ended up turning down the drums because I listened to it in different contexts and realized they were just like way overpowering and unnecessarily loud. So that's the funny thing about mixing is like you think you have a goal in mind and you think you're making it better. And then at a certain point you might realize like you lost the plot a little bit. It happens to me a lot. I'm still learning. I was very thankful to once again have help on this one. My favorite part is the lead guitar that my buddy Avi DG came over and played for me. I gotta play a bit of that for you.
Use a little of that energy. Know you I wanna set you free. You heard about my history, but the present is a gift that you give to
me. He always kills it. Every genre, he just knows what to play. It's amazing. And then finally, the bud for me on this song was exploring kind of tripped out vocals, going with a bit more of like a spacey ethereal effect. Here I just have a little vocal group with this phaser, this reverb, and a bit of EQ. And that's what this kind of bridge outro part sounds like.
You're introspective, but still so reckless around me. And I might be out of luck, but we're so compatible.
All right, that's it for weeks 9 to 12 of my journey. It's been up and down thus far. I haven't really talked too much about the emotional side. I've mostly been talking about the technical side. But I'll share some thoughts in a future video about what it's like to be creating consistently for the first time in a long time, maybe in ever. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the songs. Please share your feedback, and I'll see you in the next one.
And I see you smiling. Should I trust in answer?